Hello there, and welcome. It's been a couple of days. Have been a bit busy, not feeling too good, but we're finally back here with F1 Manager. Today, we're going to take a look at the Abu Dhabi race moment. As I said, I don't really haven't had much time. I've been experimenting a little bit with the new tires, so I haven't really had too much time to play and record as a result of that. But we'll have a look at the race moment today, and hopefully have something a little bit more long form again tomorrow, if I have time, hopefully. Team must earn at least 8 points. Season finale in the last race of 23, and France Toss last race in charge of Alpha Tauri. Tsunoda finds himself temporarily in the lead. With degrading tyres, a variety of pit strategy options to choose from, he'll need to consider his next steps carefully. Can Alpha Tauri find the right strategy to secure enough points to overtake Williams in the Constructors' standings? So, we're playing Alpha Tauri. We have Rick in 12th. We have Tsunoda in first. And the goal of this race moment is incredibly simple. We have a little bit of a half distance to go. And we are going to try and score at least 8 points. Now, 8 points would be, what would it be? 6th or above? I'm pretty sure. Yep, 6th or above. Or we need to get Rick into the calculations. So, with that in mind, let us jump into the strategy planner here and see what we can figure out for Tsunoda. We could do a incredibly simple one-stop. That is one of our options. We could go ahead and go with a more aggressive strategy, where we just push, get on this tire as soon as possible. Do we actually have 2 sets of hards? Because if so, this could be an option. It's about 10 seconds quicker than the initial idea. I'm just going to quickly check if we actually have 2 sets of hards to be on the safe side. We do. And for Danny Rick here, we have another set of hards, so we could potentially put him on this similar strategy. Probably not completely similar, but close in vein at least. And honestly, I think it would be fun to revisit most of these race moments now that the tires have changed, because in any other race moment, this would be basically what you would do. Kind of still what we're doing, but some of them, I think the strategies could be altered in interesting ways. And I'm just going to double check it what we actually have available for Tsunoda. We have the 2 hards and use softs. So basically we need to do something with the hards to make this work. And as such, unless we have a safety car, this is probably going to be our best bet. Once we pit, we estimate to come out in last. I don't know if I believe that. But that is probably because it hasn't actually, updated yet. I'd expect us to come out probably somewhere between Ocon and Hamilton, maybe. We'll see. But dead last, it sounds like a little bit too much for me. And to be fair, there aren't that many cars that are going to be pitting in the near future. And potentially here, what we're going to see is these cars go on to another hard tire or a medium, depending on what they have available, maybe even a soft. So I expect most of these cars to pit again. But that is a different story. So Danny Rick has another set of hards, and if we try to basically run these hards normally and then run those as attack, we'd get a time like that. But if we go aggressive, run these a little bit more aggressively towards the end of the stint, how would that look? About the same in pace, so that's an interesting one. And what if we just go onto these a little bit earlier, like so? It would still not be great, but we'd be able to basically run attack now till the end of the stint. We'd be able to run attack towards the end of that stint. So I think that is going to be maybe the play here, that we try something a little bit cheeky like that for Danny Rick. And for Tsunoda, I'm pretty sure this is going to be the best that we can do. Even if we were to say go aggressive on a different strategy, the only thing we achieve is losing time. And these mediums are about to start dying, so we're going to have to pit within the next few laps. So it's a bit unfortunate, but that is kind of the nature of this game, that attack is still very, very powerful as long as you don't overheat your tires. You are being punished more now for running high heat on your tires than before, so that is actually the case. But again, I just feel like running attack for the entire stint is unrealistic, but it is potentially the quickest strategy here, so we're going to give that a go. But anyway, as I said, we're probably going to start running attack, and then we'll just get on these, run them standard, run attack towards the end. And I think that's going to be the best bet for him as well. So let's get that set up. Going to do the same here for Tsunoda. Probably going to run 1 or 2 more laps here before we pit. I think that's going to be the play. So let us see here now, once the timings get a little bit updated, what we can expect in terms of a pit stop exit. So as you can see, it's currently estimated 13th, which isn't that far off from what I initially said, basically between Hamilton and Ocon. So I'm happy with not being mistaken there. Now, in terms of running a tag, you can actually take care of your tires yourself by basically turning them up and down as they get into the yellow zone. Basically run them into the reds, then go down to standard, run them into reds, go back to standard. And you'll probably have a quicker lap times doing that. But at the same time, it's a lot of micromanagement to try and pull that off. And Tsunoda here comes out with a virtual safety car. Is he going to come out ahead of Rick? He does. So Alonso there is out, which is kind of unfortunate. We save a little bit of time, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
That's unfortunate. We're saving a little bit of time, but nothing massively. But more importantly, that makes it easier to complete this objective, which is, of course, to end up in the top 6 here.
Virtual safety car.
So
Follow the
I don't know
reference.
if I should probably be happy with that, because that also allows Tsunoda now, under the virtual safety car, to kind of more slowly heat up his tires. So even if he would have liked that safety car slightly sooner for pitting, it did still come out of less time. And we see Sainz pitting, we see Bottas pitting, so some cars are taking advantage. I think everyone that would have liked to take advantage of pitting on a virtual safety car did. Most cars do pit under safety cars because the conditions are different. But pitting under VSC, you don't actually save that much time here. As you can see, well, you actually save a huge amount of time, 7 seconds. So maybe I'm a little bit too negative.
Yeah, understood.
But yeah, we'll run full attack here because I don't see any better strategy basically with the tires that we have available. It's still very true that I want to see what we do with Rick and running with Hamilton. But what I want to say is it's still very true that running the car or running the hard tires on attack is very, very efficient, because the hard tires, they have longer degradation. They degrade slower, is what I'm trying to say. But at the same time, they have the benefit of gaining a massive amount of time by running attack. So I'm probably explaining this in a poor manner. You get more benefit from running the hards on attack than running the mediums on attack than running the softs on attack. The harder the compound, the more aggressively you want to run it. Basically a rule of thumb to get the most out of it. And basically a soft tire you can run on light and have no concerns. You don't really want to do the same thing with a hard tire, because you'll just end up losing a ton of time unless you're planning on staying on that hard tire until the end of the race. So there's some considerations to take into account, but generally you wouldn't be too worried. And you can see Rick is kind of getting overtaken by Hamilton, by Sainz. It is kind of what we expect, to be fair. Sainz is on a soft tire, Rick is on an ailing hard, so that shouldn't come as much of a surprise. Now, Tsunoda is doing well. His lap times are a second quicker than the cars in front. So if we can get some overtakes done here, build a little bit of confidence, I'm pretty sure that we can get Tsunoda, even if we need to do another pit stop, up into the top 6. I don't think that's going to be too much of a problem here. That should be perfectly doable. See if we can get the overtake done here on the McLaren, which has suffered a tad when it comes to just straight line speed. And if we chase down the Red Bull 2 and overtake that, that would be huge in an Alpha Tauri. Rick is still fighting Stroll a bit here, but he too is going to be pitting fairly soon, and as you can see, the degradation is still pretty slow. So I'm thinking we're going to push these tires a little bit further down into the abyss if we can, in the hopes of a safety car. So we'll give him a couple more laps to play with here. Tsunoda, going to give him the deploy for the next straight. This is just to catch up, and then we can hopefully get the overtake done right now, which he's doing pretty well here. So did that really in a nice manner. Now, because of the fact that we're gaining a pretty sizable gap here, I'm going to allow deployment of ERS to continue because I want to detach Perez from DRS within our lap if we can. Because again, Perez is who we're currently fighting for 6th, and if we can, the bigger the gap we create now on this stint, the more benefit we'll see later on. So it's definitely worth it for us to just push. Rick here, still doing his own little thing, but he is actually catching Hamilton a little bit. I think we're going to be pitting him on this next lap. So he's doing well. We see Norris pit. We could potentially have Rick play a role of kind of slowing down Norris, but I think we can score a point, or maybe even 2 points here with Rick. So I'm going to allow him to kind of do his own little thing. We can even see Tsunoda here getting closer to Russell. So we're going to allow an attack again very, very soon. Probably on this straight, in all honesty. He's incredibly close. And it feels like we're driving a Red Bull with how we're overtaking, because we are just opening the DRS and flying past the cars in front. Rick here comes out in 15th, unfortunately behind Albon, but if we give him the DRS as well, he should have no problem just getting the overtake done. And we will tune him down here, because we need these tires to last, and we'll be pushing towards the end of the stint rather than now in the starting phase, if you will. So that is a-okay. Now Russell does pit, which leaves Tsunoda free to run his own little race, and that's actually perfect for us. If Tsunoda is allowed to run in free air, that is amazing. And we do have a 10-second gap now to 6th place. We lose about 20 seconds when we pit. So far it's looking really, really good. And I think we can pull this off pretty comfortably. Rick is also left behind Magnussen and Albon. He's probably going to have a bit of a harder time here closing down the cars in front, because we aren't running aggressive or anything like that. We're just running standard to save the tire a little bit. Although I'm pretty sure we could run potentially aggressive till the end. I think it's just better to save our tire for until, say, lap 45, go aggressive from there, and then start pushing a little bit more later on. But it's kind of hard to say. Piastri pits, and he comes out behind Hulk, but in front of Rick, which is kind of idle for them. Now, we're actually closing down on Leclerc here by half a second a lap, but within the next 5 laps, we should be pitting anyways. So that shouldn't actually be a huge deal at all. It should be perfectly fine. But yeah, Danny Rick here. I do kind of want to turn him up to aggressive, but I think for now we'll just run him standard still, because we might have Gasly here pushing and being a little bit of a pulley for us, helping us out. That would actually be huge if he did. So Tsunoda, I'm going to run it for probably 1 or 2 more laps, just so we have a little bit extra tire to go on in case we say we have a lockup. Because again, the goal here is 6th. That's basically it to beat the challenge. So we're going to play it safely to get that done. Now Gasly isn't gaining as much as I expected here, and the tire isn't degrading quickly at all. So we'll turn Rick up to aggressive now and try and chase Ocon in 10th. That's going to be the goal here. We might be going aggressive a little bit too early here because of that, but I think it's worth it. We also have a bunch of cars pitting, so we'll go ahead and do the same thing here. And if we add in 20 seconds, we should be coming out between Hamilton and Sainz, and that should be more than good enough. We're actually pitting on the same lap here as Verstappen, so Perez is actually out, and we have another virtual safety car. Tsunoda is straight up blessed. He might actually come out ahead of Russell. Wow, that is actually massive. And Perez out, which means that getting Rick into points is now a reality. Okay. That is quite insane, I think. It's the best way I can describe that. Very, very lucky. But that means also Tsunoda is kind of a cursed object at the moment, because both times he's pitted, someone has binned it on turn 1. And I was so amazed by that I kind of forgot to watch the replay. This does put us in a bit of conundrum though, because we could have Rick just start pushing already, I think. Hamilton does pit under the VSC, saves a few seconds, but even then Rick comes out ahead. Ooh, does he? Yeah, just about. That is massive. 15 laps to go here. I think we can push full attack in a few laps time.
VSC ending.
Tsunoda, we're of course going to give
Wonderful.
push to immediately here. If he can get Norris and Leclerc before they get into the DRS train, that would be massive. And we do have a tire advantage on both of those cars. I'm kind of hyped for this right now, I'll be honest. For Rick here, we could just deploy a little bit of ERS. We have 2/10 up to the car in front. And hopefully we would be able to get Piastri here, but Hamilton's gone for a soft tire. I don't think we can fight that, but I think we can follow it. And those tires are going to fall off pretty massively towards the end of the race here. For Tsunoda, we'll just go neutral now, and we'll give him energy again on once we get back to the DRS zone. But yeah, Rick here. Rick could be in a fun little situation with Hamilton. I think we're a little bit falling a little bit further behind than we'd like, so let's just deploy from this point so we can get close before the zone. Like so. Let's see now if we have what it takes to get past the McLaren. We should have. That is close. McLaren might actually come back at us here because they'll get DRS, and he does. Norris being a bit of a nuisance. Okay, Danny Rick, I'm gonna want you to overtake Piastri on the next lap here. We might need to run a harvest lap very soon. Although it looks like Tsunoda is just ready to attack again. Honestly, let's run neutral for this one. See if we can get him on the next straight. Unless he gets it done with just a neutral push. Gonna allow Rick to push as well. Tsunoda gets it done. But the question now is, can we stay ahead? That's going to be a big if. Did gain a decent chunk of time there. So let's stay ahead. But at the same time, we do need to harvest some energy. So we'll do that now. It's going to allow Norris to close in on us again, of course. But we are going to need some energy if we want to get away from him. And he's even falling backwards still. That's a little bit surprising. Now, I did kind of leave Ricky to his own devices, but he did get Piastri, and now he's going to get Ocon on this lap, I hope. But yeah, Tsunoda here. I think if we deploy what little we have left in the corner section, we might get away from Norris. And that's going to be huge. We should have DRS in now too, don't we? Yeah, we do. I'm going to allow Ricky to just deploy and get away from Ocon. See if we can chase down a Mercedes as well, because that would be amazing. Okay, Tsunoda. Deploy a little bit of your energy. Actually, you've got it done already to get away from Norris. And with 10 laps to go here, we're gaining on the cars in front. We might be able to catch Leclerc. I don't know if we'll be able to catch the Red Bull. That's going to be a very, very big if. But I should definitely have turned Rick up to attack earlier. I was a little bit too focused on Tsunoda, I'll be honest and admit that. So far, it is looking incredibly promising. I don't know if Danny Rick, though, will be able to catch the Mercs. As I said, I should turn him up earlier. But Tsunoda might actually catch Leclerc here. Catching Verstappen is going to be a little bit too much, though, but catching Leclerc is definitely on the table. Okay, DRS on this lap. Then we push and deploy. We might be a little bit too far behind, though. This might be a little bit too early, but it looks like he can get it done. Question is just, can he stay there? Because we have used a lot of energy. And now with 4 seconds to Verstappen with 7 laps to go. I think that's a dream to catch Verstappen, to be fair. Dream in the sense that we probably aren't going to be able to pull it off. But the main question now is, are we going to be able to keep Leclerc behind us? Sainz is probably going to start falling off. Hamilton's going to start falling off a little bit, but Rick still has that same gap. We are keeping Leclerc behind, but at the same time, we're not catching Verstappen. We're also running out of fuel. I think the play here is going to be to just keep Leclerc behind. That's going to be the main one. Right now, we are extending in the non-DRS zone, so within a couple of laps here, we should be able to just say bye-bye Leclerc. Rick, unfortunately, is not catching Hamilton here. We could probably have gone for a softer tire and had more benefit that way. But even then, I think we're going to be happy with where Rick is finishing. To be fair, though, it's a couple of free positions here with Perez and Alonso out. But even then, I think Tsunoda would have most likely beaten at least Alonso. Probably Perez too, seeing that we're ahead of Leclerc. So I think Tsunoda kind of deserves this podium. If he can, of course, keep it on track for the last few laps here. But Verstappen is just a beast. No way we're catching him. What I am considering, though, is slowing down a little bit and harvesting a little bit of energy, because Leclerc is keeping up mainly due to the fact that he is within DRS distance at the start of every section here. So what I'm thinking is we're probably going to need to save the little energy we have left for the final lap. But as you can see here, Leclerc is slower than us. He is falling behind. He's finally outside of DRS. And that should allow Tsunoda now to kind of just walk it in, if you will. An open net. But yeah, shame that we couldn't catch Verstappen, but to be fair, if we caught Verstappen, I would be surprised. Kind of disappointed at the game. But definitely this strategy did work out for us. We could have pitted him earlier, to be fair. But we did also benefit from the fact that we had those virtual safety cars while we were in the pit lane. So we probably saved a potential 10 seconds maybe, if we want to be generous, 10 seconds. I think it was less than that due to when the crashes happened. But we could potentially say that we should have been fourth. Yeah. We did manage to get a second place and an 8th place. So, considering that they wanted 8 points, I think I should throw my...
Okay, we take the flag. P8 for you, mate. P8.
I think I should send a message to Alpha Tauri, asked to become the new team manager. But yeah, this went very well, but again, mostly due to the crashes from Perez and also the crash from Alonso. Both of those did help Tsunoda out massively. So 22 points there, way more than we needed. But we'll take that with just being 7 seconds off Verstappen. 6th position, an extra pit stop, 14 points. For Rick here, plus 3 positions, again, 2 of them potentially from the crash. But we scored points. I think we can be happy with that. So yeah, that's it for the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix, the final race moment of the season. And as I said, I would be kind of interested to go through the race moments, particularly in the period now when we wait for the next season to start, and have a look at how they actually work with the changes to the tires. I think some of them could be more interesting, but some of them probably will not have any kind of different way of playing like this one. But if we I think you'll get more benefits now from micromanaging the heat of your tires, but as you can see, Tsunoda didn't really have any need for that. But yeah, thank you for watching, hope you enjoyed. If you did, please like and subscribe if you haven't already, helps me out a ton. And I shall see you next time. Bye bye.